everybody. Jeff Crutcher here alongside my co-host,
Scott Gepkin.
That's right. We're back. Over the Bars is back, baby. We're about to drop the green flag on the 75th episode. It's been a minute.
Not a lot of minutes.
Not a minute too long, not a minute too short. But we got a few things to discuss, Scotty.
Consistently inconsistent.
Let's get to it. All right, that's it. We are now recording for the first time in quite a few years. Scotty G, so happy that we can do this again.
Yeah, we finally pulled the trigger, and here we are. We're just making it happen.
I'm happy. Hey, let's do a little cheers here, brother.
It wouldn't be right if we didn't. That's nice.
Look at the levels there. They just spiked. So I noticed you went Red Bull sugar-free.
Well, I go to Quick Trip. That's where I just go.
Sure.
Like, I'll go out of my way to go to Quick Trip because they always have what you need every time. It's quality. It's all, you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, I didn't go to Quick Trip this time. And guess what? No White Monsters.
Where did you go?
Across the street. Some Phillips 66 across the street.
Rookie mistake.
Rookie
mistake.
Well, and I knew it going into it, but I was like, they're going to have Monster. They're going to have a Monster cooler. They're going to have...
course.
No. Wasn't there.
Okay, so on the way here, one of the things that I was thinking about is what has changed in the last 4 years since the last episode that I did right after I broke my leg, and it was a recap episode from my experience in the hospital. And Kevin came and joined me, Moran's, and I was laid out on my couch. My foot
a ketamine trip?
Yeah, after my ketamine trip, exactly. And I just was thinking about, dude, so many things have happened in the last 4 years. That, like, the last episode was right after Biden was inaugurated.
So, like, this time, like
yes,
next week, like a year. Like
well, it was right after Easter. But
so
nevertheless,
whatever. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I logged into Zencast to update some of the information and resubscribe to the billing. What's funny is all the old stuff is still archived. But I whenever I went to update the photo, because the old photo is like that UFO style OTB, and it's got it had like the gimmick, the old innovative logo, and the old ribbon rods. It's like Donnell's, you know,
right.
all the old sponsors. And I just was like, dude, the original OTB logo that Mike created
with the handlebars,
the helmet and handlebars, yeah. So I repopulated everything with that. I was like, that's the OG logo.
Yeah, right.
And I was thinking about how, like, in that amount of time, the amount of AI that I use now to create that kind of stuff, and like going into that file and messing with that file, and how much, like, I could have created that today with AI.
Which is funny because I don't even know where to go look at AI. I don't even know how to turn on. How do you turn on AI? I have no idea. I don't have a clue. Like, I've used ChatGPT once.
That's really funny. So you don't ever use AI for any type of automation with work?
No, I just do it. I'm just
old school,
do the
ground
work.
and pound.
Well, at this point, so much of the work, like, I've just done so much of it that I just go in and update documents or change different things that it's almost copy paste in a roundabout way. And but it has to be specific to that specific project or that specific crane lift or that specific whatever. And I just haven't. No, I haven't even messed with it. I don't even know how to. I need like a 101 AI 101 training session. That's what I need.
You know, it's one of these things where it seems like it's a scary tool, right? How do you even access it?
Yeah, I don't need the YouTube to MP3 thing. I don't even know where to go to look at it.
It's so funny though, because what you're saying to me is like what my grandma said whenever it's like, how do I log into the internet?
Yeah, what is the internet?
Remember teaching old people AOL?
Yeah, it's on the line. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's on the line. What do I do once
the files are in the computer?
So AI has changed so much in the last 4 years. I mean, it was like a figment of an idea 4 years ago. Now it's something that I use almost every single day in my work. And I'm kind of surprised that you don't, actually, with the amount of paperwork that you do. Now, however, before you say anything, AI has been known to make mistakes. And in your line of work, safety management, there's not a lot of room
Yeah.
for error.
Yeah, a lot of my stuff is so specific, but to be honest, the biggest reason I don't use it is I just don't know how. Like I don't know. I've never dove into it. I don't have any like there's not like a ton of advancement going on. If people advance stuff in the office, it's me, but it's, to be honest, most of the time when I'm dealing with that stuff, it's more of a culture mindset type of thing when I'm working with people on why to be safe, how to problem solve, things like that. A lot of the problems that I have to solve every day are not AI can't fix this. You know what I mean? It's most of the time. And luckily for me, right, does that mean job security? Does that mean I'm going to keep my job? But I just haven't messed with it. I just don't know enough about it. I know it's great, and I've tried to kind of dabble in it because I know that's the route, but I just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know what you don't know, and that's where I'm at.
It's not what is it? It's not what you don't know, it's what you know that just ain't so. Mark Twain.
Mark Twain, there you
Mark
go.
Twain.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So before we really get into the past and the past 4 years, I want to talk about the future. And I want to talk about what you have coming on in just a very short amount of time. So the birth of your second child.
Yeah, dude, we're technically kind of on baby watch now.
Wow.
Mama's already packed her bag, hospital bags packed, sitting in the closet. I mean, we have a quote unquote plan for when XYZ happens, or X, Y, and Z is supposed to happen. So we are technically on baby watch for baby number 2. Baby girl's coming. Her due date's not till February 22nd, so we still got 6-ish weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's gonna make it that long. I think she'll be here before.
No offense, but Callie is gigantic.
Yeah, I feel like she's been pregnant for 100 weeks. Like that's what I feel like right now, like way over the time frame. And but like she feels even more so. Like I say that like just being the spouse, let alone she's just been miserable the past couple of weeks.
Have you put on sympathy weight?
Not as bad, no. I've been going to the gym. We live further out, kind of away from everything now. So like the 3 times a week Culver's run or whatever that we were doing in the first baby go around. And I was kind of hurt last time when we had cruise. And so I don't go to town as much. We don't go into town as much. So no, it hasn't been as bad.
So talk to me about this. Okay, I see you weightlifting. I see you training every single day, it seems like. What time do you get up?
4:20 is when my alarm goes off in the AM, and I'm at the gym at 4:55.
Wow.
Between 4:45 and 4:55, somewhere in there. Sometimes 5:05.
Okay, now this is something that I was thinking about on the way over here. Do you take creatine?
I do, every day.
When do you take creatine?
It's mixed in with my BCAAs that I drink just during my workout.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, whenever I was taking BCAAs and creatine together, terrible headaches.
Really?
Yeah, I would get terrible headaches. So I got rid of that supplement altogether because it was a single combined supplement of the two. I got rid of that and then started with creatine monohydrate.
Yeah, I've taken creatine monohydrate just straight out of the ground, creatine monohydrate, nothing in it, out of China somewhere, wherever they manufacture it.
Right, and of course I'm buying Equate brand from Walmart. Dude, I don't care.
It's the same. Creatine monohydrate, whether you're spending $1,000 on it or you're spending $3 on it, it's all coming out of the same place.
Thank you. Yes, it is. The supplement is the supplement.
Correct.
There's
and the cheaper is the exact same thing. There's no difference.
So, okay, now there's a lot of myths around creatine that I've recently learned, and it's actually my own anecdotal evidence because I used to struggle because a long time ago I took this stuff called creatine fizz fuel, which was, I don't know what all was in it. It was recommended to me by someone else at the racetrack. And so I started taking it and just like my arms would, that's the only time in my life.
So Boji's like a moose, that kind of a thing?
Yeah. But everybody that I know that has ever raced has said that creatine has given them arm pump whenever they race. But I think what you said is about the time of supplement, like you're taking it during, if not finishing, after your workout.
Correct.
And this is the thing, is like if you look at any creatine labeling, it always tells you to consume it either before or during. But like all creatine supplements recommend that you take it as a pre-workout.
Correct. And that's what I've always done. I've always put my creatine, even in college when I wasn't riding and shit all the time, we were just gym broing, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It would always go in with whatever pre-workout. Now I just mix it with my BCAAs. But they also say take creatine every day.
Yes.
And it just compounds your performance, and it does help performance. And at least I believe it does.
Yeah.
And it's the most studied supplement out of any supplement ever. And creatine, your body actually makes it. You can get it just by eating red meat. You know what I mean? Like you're consuming it just from that. But you're supplementing 5 grams or whatever it is, you're supplementing that. It's just easier to actually get what you need to get to.
To that though, the amount of red meat that you would have to eat to get 5 grams
like an entire cow. Yeah.
It's pretty much almost an entire cow every day. It's physically impossible.
Right.
So I'm supplementing 5 grams of creatine monohydrate. Either I'll start drinking it halfway through my workout, or I'll drink it directly after, or on off days I drink it with my lunch, because usually my lunch is the largest meal of my day. On ride days, I don't start consuming it until I'm on the way home.
See, I don't know. I still drink it on my ride days with my BCAAs, which I guess technically a lot of times would be at the end of the day. I'm drinking BCAAs later in the day, right before, after a couple of motos, and I need a little bit of recovery to get through the next one. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, the day's done, and I'm drinking some BCAAs for recovery, and my creatine's just anytime I'm mixing BCAAs, creatine goes in it.
Yeah.
Like it's just every single time.
Did you happen to see my story that I posted about creatine and moto?
Maybe.
Oh, I did a poll where I posted creatine and moto, good for you or bad for you?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't know how I would have missed it, but I think I did.
A lot of people voted bad for you, and almost all of the ones that voted bad for you were off-road guys.
That's very interesting because
I know, and then a handful of moto guys, and I think what it is it's a supplement that you have to take off label. Because if you read it on label or ingest as prescribed on the labeling, like I said, it's before. But and my trainer Tyler and we were talking about it because he recommended creatine to me years ago.
Right.
In 2021, he's like, dude, you need to start taking creatine. I was like, dude, creatine and motocross don't mix, because what happens and the science behind it is the supplement itself physically attaches water to your blood vessel or to your
the muscle fiber.
Yes, thank you. So what happens is you become water, not logged, but water enlarged. So on one hand, you've got more water in your system, which means you have plenty of hydration to pull from. And also creatine helps your blood carry other nutrients through your veins. Now it also dilates your veins and dilates your blood vessels. I'm sorry, not the veins, just the blood vessels. So it can give you a slightly thicker blood vessel, although it's waterlogged. Okay, so a lot of this is like, it seems to be contradicting science between the two. Motocross racers, our sport is so specialized in that it is an endurance sport where we're competing with, heart rates between, any given athlete between 210 and 185 in the red zone. Whenever you have fresh creatine in your system, it makes it very hard for your body to operate at anaerobic state. So that's where the downfall of creatine is. If you're freshly supplementing, like what you're saying, or not like what you're saying, but let's say that you're doing it as like a pre-workout before you get to the track, you're setting yourself up for failure because your blood is going to have too much water in it and you'll be physically waterlogged. Now, on the flip side of this, creatine supports lean muscle growth.
Right, 100%. That's the whole idea.
In a way that I am like blown away. Dude, I take my shirt off right now. I look like a fucking animal.
I dare you.
I don't think the other folks in the library.
Yeah, probably not. It's probably frowned upon.
But it's and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, but in the last like 3 or 4 weeks, the number of people that have seen me at the track and been like, Jesus Christ, dude. And my trainer, even yesterday, I was working out. And do you know who Ryan Zefferjohn is?
I do not.
Ryan is, he's from, I think he's from Topeka, maybe Overland Park. I can't remember. He is a reliever pitcher for the Angels. I train with Ryan every Monday and Wednesday whenever he's off season because he trains at the gym at the same gym as I do. Ryan what's funny is like he's seen me go from the way I looked even 6 months ago to where I'm at right now. And, you know, I've really been paying attention to my weight. And all of this, you know, what I'm trying to say here is that the creatine supplementation protocol that I have committed to and the results that I have seen in my body and in my capability, I want to stand on top of the rooftops and scream creatine to
Tell everyone.
To everyone,
Yeah,
yes,
right.
yeah. But with that, it has to be done at the right time.
Well, and it just has to be compounded. It's not, you don't take creatine one day.
No.
And then there's a difference made or that you even notice it. Like
Yeah.
it has to be compounded over time. Like
Sure.
over this 6 months, 3 months,
Yeah.
whatever, a month of consistently consuming the supplement
Right.
and then training and working everything with it. But there's a noticeable improvement in how much weight you can lift, your actual athletic performance is improved because of it.
How long ago did you start creatine?
Oh, man, I've been off and on creatine since I was in high school. Maybe
Okay.
even, probably since I was a junior in high school.
And have you been taking it steadily for?
Off and on, it just depends.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say I've been most committed to it probably the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And like I've noticed my performance in the gym has increased tenfold. Whether it's a run, a row, a ski, lifting weights, whatever it is, it's just like no big deal.
The metric that I've seen the most improvement, aside from fat loss, is not I'm not losing fat, okay?
Right.
But my muscle growth has changed so much, and then now much of what I'm doing is because of my diet.
That's the number one.
It's
thing
the number
in
one
what you have
thing.
going on.
It's
Yeah.
the number one thing, right? I weigh 202.1 was my last weight yesterday, right after I got done working out, which is, by the way, whenever I started training for arena cross, I was 223 pounds. So I've lost over 20 pounds of bullshit.
Right.
And gained muscle mass in the process. So the amount of fat that I've lost, like my 36s are, too big, and
Yeah, you're a 34 guy. 34 club now.
I could probably squeeze into some 34s, but my legs are so bulky. Anyway, I highly suggest it to everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, that and like you just get a consistent program, whether it's with your guy or
Yeah.
with a guy like mine, like Blake, whatever. They can write you a program, whatever. Like, of course, here we are pitching, right? I'm pitching right away. But no, for real, like the atmosphere in the gym that I go to every morning, like it's changed so much for me just in my mental mindset. I have accountability. I have to be there every day. I go, you know what I mean? And if I don't, I'm getting text, WTF. You know what I mean?
Where you're
like,
at.
yeah, right. Yeah. So it's like if you can't make it, like you're texting the night before,
Yeah.
like I won't be there because if not, you're gonna get your phone's gonna be going off at 4 a.m.
So are you in a group?
No, it's really I'm just in there training my deal, but there's a couple guys that come in. There's a group of us in the morning that are in there, but everybody's doing kind of their own thing. Sometimes another like Austin Hudson will kind of join in. We'll do workouts together sometimes, but usually they're different. Usually everybody's on their own program.
Out of curiosity, take me through like a standard. I know every day is different, but take me through like a standard workout.
Okay, well, right now everything's kind of based right now off of High Rocks. Have you ever heard of High Rocks
No.
training? So
Is
High
that
Rocks race,
HY?
HYROX. It's High Rocks. It's basically like a running race. And Jesse George has also already been giving me shit about it because he's a big CrossFit guy. And like High Rocks and CrossFit are like they're like you know what I mean?
Okay,
So it's whatever. It's just funny, but. Anyways, the High Rocks is like you have to run like 0.6 mile, then you have to do like 1,000-meter row, then you run another 0.6, and then you do 1,000-meter ski, then you run 0.6, and you do 85 yards or 80 meters of lunges, XYZ. It just kind of, there's all kinds of different, it's pretty gnarly. It's like a 2-hour workout to get through it and do it. Well, the guys in the gym were pretty motivated to go do one of these, which a bunch of the races are selling out. And like the only one that's close, I think there's one in Houston, but it's like right at baby time. So like, I'm gonna have to find another one or do one next year, but that's like the training program we're running. So like yesterday I did deadlifts, bench press. The first thing I did was a mile run on the treadmill. Then I went right into deadlifts and, leaps. I can't even think of what it's called. Then right into bench press.
And these are Olympic deadlifts or trap bar?
These are trap bar.
Yeah.
These are specific trap bar. Did we go dead here?
I don't know.
Oh, no, we're here. We're good.
Okay.
We're good. I think it just went.
Yeah.
Went
I'm
to
going to
sleep.
pause real quick because I got to take my jacket off.
Oh. Just kidding.
Just keep, all right, fuck it. Stay live. Go ahead. Please continue.
So anyways, that was yesterday's workout. Then it was just kind of a weight training day. And then today was we called it an erg day. So I did a minute 45 on the rower, back to back straight to a minute 45 on the ski erg. So the only break you get is your walk from the rower across the gym to the ski erg.
Yeah.
And that was 4 rounds of that. And so that beats you up pretty good right there. And then went right into, I did what's called a Z press, where you sit flat-legged and then you just shoulder press straight up.
It's like a ZJ. If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
That's right. Yeah. So a couple different things like that. But what I know, the biggest thing that I noticed with Blake is I'm actually doing less than when I trained by myself, and it's made the biggest difference in everything. My weight hasn't really changed in our program, but my conditioning, my cardio, my strength has improved quite a bit. But my weight hasn't really changed up until I just made a giant diet change. I went through and evaluated my protein intake, my carb intake, basically my calorie intake, and like, okay, well, I'm hitting the protein intake, but I'm over by 800 more calories than I really need to be eating. So like, let's go in and adjust that. And I've already noticed like a 2, maybe 3 pound drop, but I still can't break 200 to save my life. So, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Okay.
But I mean, like, so every day is a little bit different, but the biggest thing of like working with Blake is I noticed like, dude, at home, I'd just drive myself into the ground. The workouts I would have, I'd be so sore and then back at it again. Well, I would do that for 2 or 3 weeks and then I would just be fucking smoked. I'd get sick. I wasn't recovering enough. I wasn't sleeping enough. And I was like, I've got to do something different. Because I wasn't making any improvements because I was burning the candle on both ends. And like my fitness wasn't getting really any better. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of copy paste. And I was like, I got to do something different. Got hooked up with Blake through Austin, and it's been not only has it been better for me physically, but just mentally, and like kind of the community, whatever Blake has going on. And like most of the people in there, I'm old enough to be their dad. Like there's a couple people older than me I see like they come in after me or whatever. But like sometimes in the morning it's high school kids, like star athlete kids. And it's just interesting, but it's a cool atmosphere.
Okay, so what you said really makes me want to bring up a point about the strategy for improvement. And this is something you as a coach and I as a coach, we talk about so much with the riders that we work with, is that just going out and pounding laps does not make you a better athlete. The same way is going down into your basement and killing yourself.
Right.
You know, just like more weights, faster, higher heart rate,
more miles, more whatever. Yeah.
It is so counterproductive. A, off of your body, and B, off of your mind. Because then whenever you're not seeing progress, you're sick, you're worn out, and everything else sucks too.
And then you just stop for 3 weeks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or
and
whatever.
Then you're further behind than whenever you started.
That's what kind of happened to me big time.
It's in strength training. So there's 3 very big genres of strength training. There is strength, there's endurance, and then there's strength endurance. And all 3 of them, although they have, there's a Venn diagram where they overlap, they're siloed away from each other. And they're very different disciplines within overall health, conditioning, fitness. My entire program is built exclusively off of strength endurance. and a lot of what you're talking about with high rocks sounds like it's similar. And I see, some of the lifts that you guys do, but like, dude, the shit that I'm doing is just straight up like big numbers, heavy lifting. And I was always like so afraid of like
Getting bold, like you're going to be Arnold.
getting real big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the opposite of what we want in motocross. But by doing strength endurance, so instead of like, dude, my workout, I mean, sure, I show up 15 minutes early to limber up, get loose.
Right.
Okay. So I do a 15-minute warm up, and then my workout is 30 minutes.
Yeah, mine is if it goes over 50 minutes, that's a long day, or I spent too much time talking in between sets or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And same thing, if me and Tyler get to talking, that means, okay, so it's 40 minutes.
Right.
But like what a person can do within 30 minutes of okay, so a superset is two different workouts together, right?
Right. Yeah. Or you can do 3, whatever, string it together. But yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Back to back.
So everything that I do is in multitudes of 3 and 4.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then it's always 3
rounds, whatever. I do sets,
rounds.
whatever. So ours is usually 4.
Okay.
It's 3 workouts, 4 rounds usually.
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is 4, we'll say motions, 4 motions, 3 sets, and then I get a 45-second break, a minute break, and then I have 4 all new things that I have to do.
Yeah, your break's just long enough so he can tell you what's next. Basically.
It's mostly to set up the weights.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Which that's one of the greatest things about having a trainer and not being at a public gym is, not having to fight for weights.
Yeah, right.
But like I have a membership at Crunch. I go to Crunch, and dude, I go in there and I'm looking around. I'm like, what are you people doing?
Right. Yeah.
How does it take you 2 hours to do this shit? And I always hear people, oh yeah, dude, I was at the gym for 2 hours. I'm like, how much of that was physical exertion?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. 15 minutes.
Dude, unbelievable. And like what's crazy is whenever I go in there and I've got an off day from Tyler and I'm not like this week, okay, so I'll work out on Monday and Wednesday. I'll go in to Crunch probably on Friday and Saturday both and go really hard. And the reason that I can do that is because I have an off weekend. The way that my body's
You're home, right?
Right.
Or whatever. There's
exactly.
What else am I going to do?
Exactly. And then next week we'll do Monday again, and we'll actually ramp downwards in my overall weight output.
Right.
And the thing is we don't really ramp up with the cardio end of it either. Like it's straight just keeping the body moving, not about actual performance or not progress gains.
Right. Well, dude, I'm cut you off here,
Sure.
but just like I rode in December, right after Christmas, I rode my house one day and rode Jeremiah's the next day.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this was the first time I rode in like 3 months, and I went to Blake Mondays. Like, dude, I need a regen day. And dude, I did some like very basic low impact, but I was sweating my ass off during, in the 40 minutes or whatever that I was there. And, but it was exactly what I needed because I was just tired, I was fatigued, 2 full days of riding, and we rode a lot. Like it was just, my body needed a break, and I'm old and I got a 3-year-old. Like it's just, it's like totally different.
And a full-time job.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also work at AT.
Yeah. Also.
Having a wife as a full-time job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. That part too. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So when I'm at Crunch though, like I'm looking around, dude, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And I'll go in and I'll do my, my 4 supersets, okay, or my 2 supersets of 4 motions, and there's been a couple times where, I'll go in the locker room and, I'll see a guy that I saw it on the floor. Oh, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I saw you doing that fucking 65-pound, whatever. That's awesome.
Right.
And they'll be like, dude, how do you do it? Like, what are you talking about? You just keep lifting more weight like you don't stop. I'm like, well, I'm here for a reason. I'm not here to fucking stare at other people and to stare into the mirror. And I want to encourage people that are thinking about going to the gym, going back to the gym, or that are they go to the gym and dilly-dally and waste a lot of time. It's like, dude, think about what you're going to do, commit 30 minutes to it, just do it. If you can't finish a set, stop.
Right.
Move on to the next thing. Okay? Don't put the weights down, catch your breath, let your heart rate go back down, just move on to the next thing. If you feel like after you're done, you can go back and finish those reps, do that, okay? But the other thing that has changed for me so much is understanding that, like, my workouts, and I'm sure yours too, maybe yours more so with high rocks are a little bit different, but like, dude, my shit's not exotic. Like,
oh no, and it shouldn't be. Yeah, right. The good stuff isn't pretty. It's not exciting.
It's so easy to see these fitness influencers on Instagram doing like one arm hanging crunches. Right. And it's like, dude, oh my God, that you're insane. Okay,
right.
That
super
is
hard, super difficult, and you just spent 5 hours at the gym anyways because you don't have anything else to do, right. Or you're trying to get as much for Instagram as you can. Yes. So you're bored and you want to try something different.
And that's like elite level shit, okay? But it's not practical. Right. And the thing is, nobody's doing that as like, this is a regular thing that I incorporate into my training. No, it's I do the basics. I have the fundamentals locked down. Therefore, I can create an insta-banger where I'm holding on to a TRX rope and I'm able to do a full crunch. What is that where your feet are? I can't remember what the crunch is called, where you have your hands overhead and then you lift your feet straight up at 90 degrees. There's a name for that.
I'm trying to picture it. I don't know, like a
yeah.
leg lift.
And
anyways,
like
whatever.
It's that it's very exotic. It's very hard to do. I mean, my God, does it make your muscles look amazing for a video? And especially whenever you start messing with like editing and stuff
right,
on your
Photoshop. Yeah.
But like, dude, okay, yesterday, my first set was reverse lunges.
Right.
Goblet squats, which by the way is just a squat where you're holding weight with both hands in the middle under your chin. Push-ups and then TRX pulling rows, not pushing rows, but pulling rows.
Yep.
That's it.
Do that same stuff all the time.
And TRX, by the way, for people that don't know, it's literally just straps that are hung up from overhead.
Yeah, and they will ruin your day. Like they'll ruin your day. Like it's a phenomenal little tool.
Yes, and so like I did that, and then I had overhead. You know, I did overhead
Skull
arm
crushers.
Extensions with the rope.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, so for like my triceps, and then you know, blended the bike in with that and the rower. And
do you do much like distance cardio at all, or high volume cardio?
On my days off, when I'm not training with Tyler, I will go to Crunch and I will do 5-minute sprints on the rower.
Okay, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, okay.
It's the worst thing on earth. But to me, it's like, if I can do that, I can race a main event.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So all of that being said, yeah, like I said, I just hope that people find inspiration to want to go to the gym and just do the simple shit. And you can look it up on YouTube. The University of YouTube features more workouts than you can ever imagine.
Dude, social media, if I had had that tool in high school or whatever, YouTube, any of that, like... Dude, I was looking at the 90-year-old man in the gym watching what he was doing, trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? There was this old dude named Maurice that was just this old bad dude. He's probably dead now. Like, he was old. He was an old man, but he was jacked, an old man. And anyways, yeah, it's like I would just take notes from all of those guys and try to just copy what they were doing or whatever you read in a magazine, stuff like that. And we're old, but we're not that old. You know what I mean? But like, if I would have had a YouTube to like learn like any workout you could ever want to know, just type in what you think the name is, and you're gonna get really, really close to it. Like, it's unbelievable. Or get a troll training app, get a trainer, get something. There's so much information, people available. Like, yeah, but like you can do all that for like $7 a month. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things on different coaching apps that you can do for almost nothing that will coach you right along the whole way. And anything is better than nothing.
Let me ask you, in a totally different vein, but I said something about my legs earlier. I'm team knee pad now.
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't know where maybe at Jeremiah's or something. You're out of your mind, but that's good for you. Yeah.
Dude, try it.
Dude, I used to be team knee pad back in the day till I got on big bikes. I was a mini bike team knee pad guy.
Just try it.
I don't want to.
I
just don't want to.
I didn't either, and I had a knee brace, a mechanical malfunction. One of the I crashed. Okay, so
Right.
I helped.
Yeah, right. Imagine that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but I broke both kneecaps on my knee braces, and I had ordered new product from EVS, and I was waiting for it to show up, and I've got these spare TP 199s, and I just was like, you know what? I want to know what all the
Let's
hype
see
is.
what Rhino has. Let's
see
check the Rhino power.
Let's try it, right? And Anton, by the way, Anton runs knee pads. Okay. when I was with Anton, and we were training at club, or he's training at club, and I'm working with him. Jason Anderson is there.
Right.
Okay. And Jason and I go a long ways back, and we're having, a pretty candid conversation. And after the day was over, he came up and he was like, "Hey, do you have any extra knee pads?" And I was like, "No." Why? He's like, "Dude, A-Stars forgot to send me some." I was like, "Hold on, wait a second. What?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, they didn't put any knee pads in my gear bag that they shipped out here."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, "So what have you been riding in?" He's like, "Just nothing. I just have my pants on." Like, hold on, wait a second. You just burned a whole week worth of Supercross training, not even in knee pads.
You know how bad your skin would be?
Dude, he's just like, yeah, whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
So
he's loose, so I guess
he's
whatever.
loose.
He's probably, yeah.
So Norin had some extra knee pads, and he borrowed them for the next day. Before A-Stars could get him more sets, and Cooper Webb, team knee pad.
Right.
There's a lot of these guys I'm noticing. Just like what happened with the neck brace.
Mm-hmm.
Where everybody was wearing neck braces and everybody was getting paid to wear neck braces, we're starting to see a lot of pros get away from knee braces because they're not getting paid to wear knee braces anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Obviously, like, the guys that do this for an absolute living, they've got the best trainers. They've got the best sports scientists in their corner. And I'm talking about specifically Red Bull athletes and Monster athletes.
Right.
Okay. Those guys have tools that you and I can only ever dream of being connected with, like, the elite.
Right. Yeah,
level.
your Tom Brady's, your guys
Correct.
like that. Right.
And if they're being told not to wear knee braces, I think there's something there. I've worn knee braces since 1998, and I've always felt extremely comfortable in my knee braces. I still think that knee braces are a fantastic protection option. I do think, though, that once you get to a certain speed, knee braces aren't going to protect you any better than knee pads.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, and a lot of people say your knee brace for it really to work, it's got to be strapped to your boot. It's got to be tied into your boot. And if you look at Austin or a bunch of these guys that are, I think Pod, most of them, well, maybe even any of them probably that are asterisk your CTI.
Yeah.
A bunch of those guys have them sewn into their boot, so there's a hole in their pant. The clip goes through the pant, clips into the boot, like the whole deal. The very top level guys. I just don't have a scenario where I think the knee brace is holding me back for any reason.
That's where trying it comes in.
Right.
Okay. Because I've always felt the same way. I'm like, here's the thing. I've had a crash before where I think that a knee brace prevented injury. Now, it wasn't soft tissue injury. I'm saying skeletal injury in my actual knee joint. That was the day that I broke my leg. Earlier in the day, I had a huge crash in the first 250A moto. and high-sided, flipped over the bike, landed, and whenever I splattered on the ground, the bike landed rear tire
On
right
your
on top
legs.
of my leg. One time in my life, though, have I felt like a knee brace prevented some type of, potential skeletal issue. However, and I've tried other knee brace brands just to try them. I've used all the way up from the RS6 to the current Web Eclipse. Okay, so I've worn everything that EVS has put out. I've worn Mobius. I've worn
Would you have hit Alpine Stars for a long time? Didn't you?
I had the Alpine Stars ones. I've worn several brands, and like I've always thought this protects me, right? And
Right.
And then I started just kind of second guessing, I guess. And the other thing too, and this could also be because of my leg shape, but I struggle with, doesn't matter what brand or model it is, on outdoor tracks that have long rollers, so like the Manhattan Sand Track,
Right.
or indoor tracks with a set of whoops. My knee, because I twist in with my knees so hard that my knee braces rotate outward. Okay, so the inside now ends up a little bit closer to this soft spot here in the front of my knee.
Right.
And the longer the moto, the worse it gets. I just dealt with it. I just was like, you know what? That's just a thing that I'm going to have to deal with. I'd still rather have them on,
Right.
And something that I didn't realize how much I had is knee pain, like overall knee pain, until
You went
until I
braceless.
started wearing knee pads. And it kind of makes sense because whenever you have something on your knee that is forcing the hinge to be, or not forcing, but is trying to
Stop your knee from going where it thinks it needs to go.
where it naturally goes.
Right.
And maybe, a set of like custom made CTIs or Dawn Joys maybe a little bit. That's just out of the budget for me.
Right. Right.
And that's
yeah.
out of the budget for the average person. And I think unless you're capable of spending $2,000 a leg, then I just don't think that the knee brace thing is the move. I could be wrong.
I just don't agree. That's all. I just don't. I think the protection factor of the knee brace from an impact, from rocks, ground, other bikes, a fence post, a tire, a flagger, a dog, a fence, any of that kind of stuff, to me is worth it versus even the knee protection. Now, however, knock on wood, I haven't had a lot of knee issues in my career. I've all been shoulders, right?
Yeah.
So apparently I like to land on my shoulder. But I switched from pods. I wore pods for a long time. I've worn EVS. I've worn Asterix. I broke all of them. You know what I mean? And then I wore pods for a long time because for a while they were the only ones you could get like replacement parts for.
Yes.
So I went with pods. Well, they have a little gap right here. Maybe they used to. The set I did had a little gap right above the knee. And man, I just kept whacking my knee on the bottom of the handlebar, right where the knee cup didn't cover. So I ended up switching to Mobius. And I don't have that. I whack my knee and it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't literally know. I don't even know what happens really. And I just don't. I don't have a scenario where I don't have one that the knee brace is like, hey, I'm a problem. I can't. You don't put your foot in the right spot because of this or because of that. I just don't have that. Yeah. However, the neck brace, I used to be team neck brace, as everybody was, right? Dude, that was like my graduation gift when I graduated high school.
I was
mine
like, for a Christmas gift.
I was like, Dad, this is what I want. I had to order it from Honda of Houston because they were the only people that had them. It was a Liette. Well, I couldn't see. You would look up, and dude, there for a while, you'd like be looking into a turn, and what would I hear? Squeak, 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 squeak of the bottom back of my helmet rubbing on the neck brace. And then I even switched and went to, that was from a Liette in the early days, the big bulky Liette, switched to an Atlas, I think that's what it's called, and went to that one and wore it for a while. And then I noticed that like everybody stopped wearing them. Chad Reed wasn't wearing one. Ricky Carmichael wasn't wearing one. I mean, all of your top guys, the only guy was like Marvin Muscan, maybe and this is when he was like in the 250 class. And Villapoto. And I was like, these guys are turning down dollars to not wear these. then there's something else going on there that I don't need to. And this was the big controversy around, they called them Sharkies, McFarlane out of Australia that got killed.
Andrew McFarlane.
Andrew McFarlane, yeah. And there was just issues with that, and it was all kind of in that same window. And I was like, I'm going to just try with, I think I forgot it actually one moto and realized that like, hey, I don't hear squeaking coming to the corner. I can look ahead like I need to. You know what I mean? That was it. I don't even know. I probably threw it in the trash or maybe gave it to somebody else. I don't know.
So in other hot button topics, I'm curious to know your opinion about the new AMA rules about pit vehicles.
Man, I have a side-by-side, so I don't care, and I take my side-by-side everywhere, so it doesn't matter to me. But I know a lot of people that are mad about it. But, dude, I'm an old man now. I'm going to get off my lawn. I'm not that bad.
Has your Honda Ridgeline, you got a Ridgeline, right?
It's a Pioneer. The Ridgeline's a truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is your Pioneer approved?
I don't know. Nobody has told me no yet, so it should be. It'd be like I'm pretty sure it is. I have to look.
Have you seen that there's a list?
Yeah, there's like literally specific items because what they don't want is like the stuff that Dylan drives, the 1,000 razors and stuff that people are doing donuts in the parking lot and shit for. Honestly, man, I don't care. Like, to be honest, I'm this close to buying a e-bike, mountain bike, anyways, and just using that to get around.
Yeah.
That's just what I think I'm going to end up getting outside of taking the side-by-side. But, dude, when I go to the track these days, like I go to race, we take the camper, like I take the side-by-side, and that's just what I use to get around. Yeah. And I don't drive like an idiot, so I don't have any problems. You know what I mean? I'm also not 15 like I was when a golf cart at Loretta's and skimmed a set of parking lot whoops and the engine fell out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that kid anymore. There still are plenty of those kids, but it's a hot button topic for a lot of people, but like, play by the rules or don't play. Like, that's the way I look at it. Go buy a mountain bike, go buy a bicycle, buy a golf cart. Yeah, you got to have a trailer, go buy a trailer. Like, yeah, it's more expensive. But, like, the same thing is, like, in this sport, like, I complain about it sometimes, too, like, how expensive motorcycles and stuff are, and it pushes, that's what puts such a tight constraint on our sport is how expensive it is. But the other part, like, if you're playing this game, if you're in it racing motorcycles, like, I don't want to hear you complain about entry fee cost or whatever. Like, people don't have any idea what's involved on the back end with getting insurance and how difficult it is and how you have to, like, sell yourself, like, to get insurance and different things. Like, it's so much more difficult that the average rider doesn't know and just wants to complain about it because their entry fee is $5 more or because they have to pay for a pit vehicle or whatever. Like, there's so much more to that on the back end that unless you're in it, people just don't know it. They just don't care about it. You know?
Well, yeah, what they see is they're sitting in line at the track getting ready to pull in, and everybody's handing over 50s to the lady at the gate.
Right.
And they're not getting change back.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, it's easy to sit there and count how much money's being brought in.
But it costs a lot to put on. Dude, it costs a lot to put on a practice. You know what I mean? Like, diesel fuel's not cheap. Tractors break. Water trucks don't run. Having good quality people to be able to help you put an event on are not cheap. You know what I mean? Like, being able to have a good truck. Having a place to go, which seems to be harder now than it's ever been for around, you know, in the Midwest, in our area. Even in California, a bunch of tracks have gone away. Like, people should be willing to pay that extra $5 to $10 because it really matters. And we've probably talked about this on the last 75 episodes. Which, yeah, sometimes it sucks. And, like, I pick and choose. I'm not going to that because it's too expensive. But the other part, too, is, like, there's two sides of this, right? So, like, there's the part of, like, hey, entry fees are up $5. Our insurance cost went up. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that just is, our operating costs have gone up, you know, or $25 or $30, whatever it is. But the other part is, like, these people that are complaining about it just drove in $200,000 worth of motorhome and unloaded 4 bikes. You know what I mean? Like, but you're complaining about the extra $5 that went to the promoter. You know what I'm saying? Like, or went to the track, not even to the promoter, whatever, however you want to call that. But the back end is so just not understood by the common person. In most cases, or people just want to bitch. They just want to complain about stuff. And that doesn't matter if it's racing or politics or the gas prices or whatever. And bike prices to me, I think, are too expensive. But it is what it is. Like, it's a very niche sport, so it's going to be very expensive.
So I'm going to pull something up here because you said that specific. 1996 RM250 MSRP. Okay.
Man, that Red Bull is just doing it for me right now.
It's doing it for you. If I remember right, the brand new. Okay, here we go. $54.99 in 1996. The RM250. I remember. I used
That's
that.
actually more money than I thought it would have
I
been.
used that because that's that was the most expensive bike that year.
Okay.
Most of them were $48.99, $49.99. The Suzuki was the one that was the most expensive. What did I say? $45.99.
Wow, have the tables turned?
Yeah.
The turntables have.
4,599 inflation calculator. I did that wrong. Anyway, okay.
Well, dude, I can just tell you right now. Back in 2006, 2007, it was like the first set of bikes I bought personally at like 17 or 18 or whatever I was. Right out of high school, I had my dad's like, "Hey, it's on you." Mom and dad are like, "Hey, if you want to race, you can race. You just got to buy your bikes. We'll help you get to the races, but you got to pay for your bikes." I bought two bikes, a 250F and a 450, for like 10 grand even, which was like a smoking deal at the time, right? Like brand new, out of the box. I took them out of the box myself. The bike I bought right now is almost double that for one bike.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think $54.99 in 1996 dollars is worth today in October 2020? Which I can only go from the government calculator. October 2024 is the last data set.
$54.99 is the number. Bob, give me $7,500.
$11,000.
Oh my God! Yeah.
$242.
So it's right on par. I mean,
A Husky,
it's right on par.
Husky or KTM,
Right.
Yeah,
A factory edition, works
factory
edition, whatever
edition,
is
yeah,
right on
the
par.
SR, they're $11,000-$12,000
Yeah.
motorcycles. Yes, motorcycles are more expensive than they've ever been, but they've followed inflation very accurately.
Right. Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, now the Suzuki 450, it's funny because in that amount of time, Suzuki went from having the most expensive bike to now the least expensive motorcycle. And there's dealers out there with 24s that they're trying to rebate off for, $6,500 out the door.
Right.
It is cheaper now to buy a used motorcycle than it's ever been.
Yeah. It's just, well, people are holding on to their bikes longer right now. It seems like I ride a bike for 2-3 years. I mean, I think I rode my 18 for like 4 years.
Dude, that's the other thing is the motorcycles. I mean, like, I remember Nick Peterson had that RMZ 450 that was the community bike that everybody rode. Dude, I remember I borrowed that bike for a weekend. Nick gave it to me. He's like, it's got 115 hours on it, but you're good. I'm like, what have you done to it? He's like, nothing.
Right. Yeah. Nothing. The bikes are so much better. Like, dude, back in 96, 97, 04, 03, 04, like they were kind of throwaway. That was back when you had to buy new bikes every year.
Yeah.
Now you can just put some wheel bearings in it, put a clutch in it, probably put a piston, depending on, if it's a little bike, you're maybe doing a crank and a piston, but if it's a big bike, you might do a piston just because at 50 hours, at 100 hours. They just last so much more. The fuel injections change the game. The bikes, the performance is so much more, and the fuel injection has made everything wear so much better compared to the intake and exhaust valve replacements every moto, it seemed like.
So I've been reading where people are saying that the Lawrence brothers do not like their new motorcycle indoors.
That's a whole thing, yeah.
And I mean, we only have one set of data to pull from, but it would show that they don't love that motorcycle indoors.
Yeah, but that's not an excuse. I don't agree with that. I don't believe that if you are a professional athlete, you're a motocross racer, you are paid to race that motorcycle, and you had an entire off season, you raced overseas on a production bike, what are the whole deal, but you had an entire off season, you are a professional athlete, factory Honda, unlimited budget, unlimited builds you, make you whatever you want, the coolest shit ever. It's factory Honda, the top of the top. Like, literally, they'll do anything you want, right? I mean, they build jets and robots and put people on the moon and shit. You know what I mean? And run a generator if you need it. You know what I mean? But, like, that is not an excuse to come to the season and say, yeah, we don't like our bike. We're uncomfortable. Can't get me comfortable. Get out of here with that. I don't care if you're Tomac, Jet Lawrence. I don't care if you're Garrett Marchbanks or Max Volant. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Kevin Morans. Like, if you're a professional athlete and that's what you have to show up and do, the bike is not the excuse. I don't agree with it. I will not get on that train whatsoever.
So, okay. Now let's rewind the clock, though, to the 1997 CR250. The first gen
Aluminum frame, yep.
Okay.
The big fat one.
Yep. That McGrath literally said no.
Yeah, left and went to
I
Suzuki.
will not race this motorcycle.
Right.
Now, I don't think that the 2025 Honda is the same as the 97 CR250 by any means.
Right.
I don't think the motorcycle manufacturers get the bike wrong like they used to around that whenever people started introducing aluminum frames.
Then the inverted forks and upside down fork, the whole
Sure.
that big changes.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
I do wonder, though, how much more do we have to reinvent the wheel in motocross? Like, I don't know if you watch Supercross over the weekend.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, did you watch all the Kawasaki stuff where, I mean, it's like technology.
Oh yeah, your whole shot assist. I mean, my bike has all these buttons that I don't even know how to use.
Yeah.
A quick shift, never used it. It has a straight to lit pro, dude. It's the coolest shit ever. But like, I don't know how to use half of it. Whole shot assist. I remember when the whole shot assist came out, the first set of Kawasaki's I ever got, and I couldn't figure it out. I got worse starts trying to use it than I did just give me full throttle, give me the go fast lever, and I'll figure it out.
Exactly. So at what point do we, as consumers, when will the OEMs start being like, you know what? We don't have to do this anymore.
Suzuki already has.
Suzuki's already done it, and Suzuki has a very dedicated following of purchasers.
RM Army.
And what's funny is that of them all, Honda aside, Suzuki's the largest.
Oh, yeah, right.
They're the largest manufacturer second to Honda. Obviously, like you said, Honda's making robots and generators and,
Right.
and
And
airplanes
and then you have Yamaha.
Formula One engines.
Right.
People sleep on Suzuki making outboard marine engines. Like, dude, they dominate the market.
Yeah, right. Yeah, by tenfold. Yeah, right.
Exactly. And then they manufacture cars that are produced
all over the world
and sold all over the globe. We don't necessarily see Suzuki here in the United States because, frankly, Suzuki doesn't need North America.
Yeah, they don't. At least not in motorcycling.
Right. And so I bring all this up because as being the two-stroke guy,
right,
I'm not in love with the new technology that has come out on the two-strokes. I love my motorcycle, but it did require modifications
to get it right.
A carbureted two-stroke, though, I mean, you need a JD jet kit.
Yamaha.
And you're fine.
Right.
Right. Yeah, Yamaha. I think that Yamaha's kind of got it right with the two-strokes. They're still producing a motorcycle that's been the same since 2002.
Right. Yeah, and well, what 05, I think so they went aluminum frame. But
sure.
yes, right, same thing.
Yeah.
They just made an aluminum frame of the same frame.
Like, I this is something that I always think about, and I'll tie in these new AMA rules about pit vehicles, and that's where this whole genesis is coming from.
Okay,
is that if motocross technology, if we never introduce the four-stroke, we'll just go there. If we never introduce the four-stroke back into racing, and motocross technology stopped entirely in 2005, our sport would be in such a better place than it is right now today.
I have a really hard place to argue that. I like to argue with you on everything.
Of course, yeah.
I have a hard stance against that.
Okay, so now I'm talking about strictly motorcycle technology advancement.
Right.
I'm saying engine, chassis, suspension, wheels. Okay, if it stopped right there. Okay.
Right.
How could it get better?
If you stop there. I mean, the biggest thing to me is how could it get better? I mean, the biggest thing is it would have nothing to do with the motorcycle at that point. It would have to do with riding areas, places to go. That's in my opinion, because your entry cost is going to be low-ish. Mm-hmm. The thing is, though, is inflation. We're going to stay away from politics, but inflation-wise, is that same two-stroke from 05 going to cost $11,000? You know what I mean? even though it's the
I
same,
understand
right,
what you're saying, but I mean, yeah, do they just continuously raise the price a little bit more,
Yeah,
even
right.
though that they're not retooling, that they're not training new,
They're
people
copy paste, right?
exactly. So I genuinely think that, and I pull off of automotive spec racing,
Right.
where I think that a lot of automotive spec racing shows that you don't need technology advancement to have good racing and to have racing that people want to watch.
Here comes your electric argument.
Not necessarily.
That's not a financial thing, but like that's as far as
Sure.
like
And
yeah.
and tying in the pit vehicle rules. Okay, this is where I was really going with this. And I've said this on Facebook, and I'm sure people will be like, "Oh, here it goes again." But motocross existed before pit bikes.
Yeah, absolutely.
When the only pit bike was a Z50, motocross existed at one time, and we were doing damn good then.
Right.
So, yeah, and this is so much of our culture. And Aubrey and I were talking about rolling back convenience and how hard life is whenever you, and to quote Jeff Bloss, it's hard to live as a peasant when you once had a king's taste.
Yeah, accurate. Yeah, that's all accurate.
And I think that all of this pushback that we're seeing on social media, specifically Facebook, that the track owners are just getting hammered about, is people are going to lose their access to convenience.
Right.
But they're not losing the riding place, the facility, et cetera. So I think we have more to be thankful of than we don't. Are we? Where are we at on time?
We're an hour
okay.
in. No,
Yeah. We're an hour in.
we're an hour in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we need to be appreciative of the fact that like the AMA, as much as we can sit here and be like, fuck the AMA,
Right, yeah.
right? They are trying, and they are figuring out ways for motorcycle tracks to have insurance.
Right.
And is it best case scenario? No. Is it worst case scenario? No. But
It's the scenario.
that's right.
It's your house. It's we're going to your house. We got to play by your rules.
That's
like
right.
That's what it's.
And so, we need to be mindful over the fact that what track owners do is really hard, what promoters do is really hard. Everybody there is working so hard to break even, best case scenario.
Yeah.
Very few tracks, especially in our area, are profitable. And if that means no pit bikes, no razors, not scooters, but Polaris razors,
Right.
no go-karts, and no kids driving golf cart. Like, it's all just common sense. And this is built entirely around the AMA figuring out a way to get the underwriters to even give them a fucking policy.
Right.
That's where this whole thing comes from. And I support it. If that means, dude, because frankly, and we can shift gears into the electric topic. And I've said this before, but it's been many years since we've recorded an episode, and I'll say it again. I don't like the sound of dirt bikes.
Get off my lawn.
It just, when you've been doing it for so long, don't get me wrong. Do I like the sound of a dirt bike? Yes. But when you're
Right.
at the track and it's just do, 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 do,
Dude,
all,
why do you not park by the start? Or you don't park by the whatever section of the track, on purpose? Like,
yes.
yeah, because I don't want to hear that all day. Because I'd like to have a conversation when I'm not on the track.
Find me where? In the back.
Yeah. I also wear earplugs when I'm on the track.
Yeah.
Which I wish I would have worn a long time ago.
Same. My tinnitus in my left ear right now agrees with you.
I just shout in a normal room setting, having a conversation. Like I'm checking myself right now in this room to not talk real loud.
You're fine.
Yeah,
I think you'll be okay.
but I'm consciously focused on that.
Sure. Well, I've said everything that I wanted to say. Is there anything that you'd like to?
Well, we need to kind of circle back to there's so much that's changed in the last 4 years. We kind of just went. We just went over the bars like we do, right? Like we always do. But in the very beginning of this, we talked about how much has changed since our last episode 3-4 years ago, whatever it's been. And I mean, obviously a huge change for me. I've had one kid and I'm getting ready to have another one. You got married.
Yes.
Oh man. Never did I think I'd see the day. Yeah, look at you.
Who would have thought that I'd get married before Keith? like once.
Right.
He should have gotten married at least once before me.
At least once, yeah, he should be like pretty deep into number 2 by now, for sure. Like just his track record. God, we're such dicks. Have you ever wondered that, like with your friends? Like you and I are best friends, and we fucking hate you. We're so mean to each other. Like
That's what men do.
That's what men do. Like it's all that. Like how do we have any friends? Because all we do is talk shit on each other to each other, like straight to your face. But
have you noticed how hard it is to make new friends?
yeah, I just stopped trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just.
This is the thing that that I've really kind of like come to grips with. And actually last night I was talking with Josh and Tamara, which by the way, stop what you're doing right now and go and listen to Behind the Gate.
And give them a follow on Instagram,
Yep.
Facebook, Behind the Gate podcast with Frank Craven and Josh Hudson.
Big shout out to those guys for reviving the podcast scene in Kansas City. And we let's just go ahead and say we did not restart OTB because we're like, oh no, we have competition. We can be the
No, not at all.
No. We restarted OTB because we never wanted to stop. It's just that whenever Mike sold his business, we lost the location for us to record. That's where it really...
That was the middle ground where we could all meet. Jeff lives in Lawrence. Mike lives in Pleasant Hill. I live in Buckner.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so we lost our location. And this is something we've never really got to talk about.
No, right. Yeah, we haven't.
We lost our location, and then it was just like, well, where does the band practice?
Right.
Can't do shows if we can't practice. And so...
And, I mean... consistently inconsistent, like our saying tagline was for a while, and we just life gets in the way. Life happens. Hey, can you do it this day? No, can't make it. Can you do it this day? No, can't make it. You know what I mean?
And kudos to Frank and Josh for coming up with a really cool idea and working with Steve Garrett, which is the coolest.
So it's such a better product.
So
than
last
what
night,
this
whenever we went and recorded the episode, I just was like, You're Steve Garrett. Like, I've heard your voice my entire life, and here
Right.
you are in the flesh in front of me. And I'd never known what he looks like, and he looks exactly how you think he looks.
right. Yeah,
to me.
I totally agree.
But yeah, it's just like it's the guy from 101 The Fox that does the PSAs and has his own little radio show and not
And the
little, but
sickest Corvette ever.
Sickest Corvette.
Like, so sick.
and just what a smooth operator that guy is.
Yeah.
Like. I'm not going to say greased lightning. That's too aggressive.
Guru? Like, just no, not even.
We'll say buttered ice.
But
Buttered ice.
oh, you got it.
Yeah. Well,
No,
well lubricated.
But both like and like props to them too for like making us get off our like how long has this group text gone back and forth of like, hey guys, let's do the podcast.
Okay.
And then it sits for 2 months. Hey guys, you want to do the podcast? And I will say I'm gonna raise my hand and say, hey, you guys, let's do this. Let's do this. What are we doing? Let's do this.
Yeah, you definitely were the one that really kickstarted it. And for the record, we want to have Mike here.
Right.
Mike's business is in a very tough spot, not financially, but staffing wise.
Busy. He's just a
Yeah.
very busy
They
man
have
right now.
way more work than they have people to work. And so, I mean, bro's pulling 10s regularly.
And he's got 2 kids.
And he's got twins on top
Twins.
of that.
Yeah, right.
It's so funny because, like, yeah, at the last episode, I wasn't married. You didn't have kids. Mike didn't have kids. We had a location to record. And it just, so many things have changed since then. And I've changed a bunch. Okay, so the last episode was me talking about breaking my leg. And then the episode before that, I recorded by myself just talking about ATC Flipside. So
race team.
Yeah.
Very first race team.
Yeah. So I mean, we could go far as to say that we really haven't put out an episode in almost 5 years. We have.
Yeah, right. As a team.
Yeah, and so it's fun to think about all the stuff that has changed throughout that time, and you know how much we've all changed as people, how much we've changed as
Dude, so much.
you know, as husbands,
Right.
you know, fathers, and the different perspective. And like I went back and just kind of skimmed through a couple episodes, which I know you did,
Right.
and it's not cringe.
It's kind of cringe.
It's not. No, it's not cringe because it's so time stamped.
Right. Yeah. There you go. That's a good way to look at it.
It's so time stamped where like here you want to click that.
It was.
There we go. It's and it's so relevant for where we were at in our lives.
Right.
You know what I mean? Fuck, dude, we were still just turned 30.
Oh yeah.
Which seems
totally
so young compared to 36 now.
It's that, dude. That's a lot. It's funny too, because like, you know what's funny saying all of it, like when I think of racing and like old guys, like, because we're kind of the old guys now,
dude,
right? Like,
I know.
Like, and I feel like one after a race day, but like guys like Jack, Doug makes me so angry.
How do they do it?
Dude, how does he do it? But then old man Rick Tuning was an old man when I was a young lad.
Yeah.
And he was an old man then. He's even way older now. And just, I see him all the time. I pass him going down Buckner Tarsney all the time in his S10, the same S10 he had when I was 10. Like, it's just insane. It's got probably 6 million miles on it. And, man, I tell you what, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I don't even know where I'm going with that.
Rick truly is. Rick needs to be inducted into the Missouri Motocross.
Dude, yeah, we
Hall
need to
of
call
Fame.
that guy right away.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, he's a sleeper entry, absolutely. Is Jack in it?
I want to say Jack got in last year, maybe, or
Okay.
maybe I think he's been talking. I don't
inducted,
know.
yeah. I've thought about it several times and not that I'm like doing anything based on I hope one day doing this gets me into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But I do wonder, like, if you know we could ever be nominated.
Do we make the cut? Are we
down-
Jeff Schumachers? Are we?
Yeah, exactly.
Are we Donnell Shiflets type of guys? I don't know.
So this is such an interesting point of perception here because like you're saying, now we're the old guys.
Right.
And at one time, like I started racing professionally the same year that my rider Anton was born.
Yeah.
Dude, and I highly suggest everyone go and listen to our episode. It comes out next Wednesday. Did you just scoff?
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about like our old episodes.
No,
I was like, don't just
no. Anton
just don't
and
do
I's
that.
episode on Behind the Gate. I tell some fun stories on there. It and some of the stuff that Anton said actually kind of surprised me. I didn't know that he felt that way about a couple things. And Josh, dude, Josh is such a good question asker.
Oh yeah.
He really can pull stuff. You know, like you and I, we're just sitting here fucking blabbing.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But like Josh can pull good information out of somebody, and he did that with Anton, and I found that to be very. I was like,
I'm excited for the episode. I can't
Wow,
wait to
yeah.
hear it. I mean,
So that comes
I
out
want to
next-
listen to Anton. I don't really care what you have
Yep.
to say, but yeah.
yeah, that comes out next Wednesday. I highly suggest checking that out. All right, we got it. Let's go ahead and plug it right now. Innovative MX.
Yeah,
Mega Camp.
Mega Camp. We talked about that. We really broke the news on Behind the Gate.
Right.
But we're going to talk about it a little bit here. Everything's coming together. We got a date, Memorial Day weekend.
10th annual.
No, 8th.
8th.
We're on year 8.
So we
Last year was
started
7.
in 17.
18. I don't know. I can barely count to 10, dude.
I thought it was started
gotta
in
look.
16.
No, so Innovative MX started in 15.
That's where I'm getting confused.
But Mega Camp, I think, started in 18.
All right. And what did we have at the first Mega Camp? What was it, like 10, 12 entries?
We had 20 riders.
At the very first one?
At the very first one. We had 20 riders, you, Brad DePringer, and myself.
Yeah. And now we're capping at 65?
That's the number 65, yeah. Yeah. Which is just crazy that we have to even cap it. So,
Yeah.
you're in.
Yep.
Rob is in.
Oh, excellent.
Rob is back. Yeah, Rob wanted to be in.
Dude, such a value adder.
Dude, he's such a good coach. He's such a good rider too. Big jump Rob. And then I'm obviously going to be there.
Sure.
And my fourth coach is I'm waiting on some emails returns. Let's put it that way. But we're not going to break any news on that right now yet.
Sure.
But it's we got some emails out there hanging out. We got some phone calls out there, and we're waiting on some responses. So
I'm
we'll
very
see how that
excited
goes.
for
So
it.
yeah, and so we're getting that lined up bar to bar for 8th year. I think this is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is the 8th year, and so which is crazy to think that we've been doing it that long,
Dude. And the evolution of the event too, and how much it's changed over the years.
Well, dude, and how many obstacles we've had to overcome.
Sure.
the tsunami last year in the rainstorm. Like water was coming inside Bruce's RV. Like, I mean, just a couple times. That's it. But one day we had it rain. We had to rain. All the years we've canceled one day.
Yeah.
Is that just crazy insane?
And I remember that we were in the hut, and there was a couple kids that suited up and went up to the starting line.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a giant learning experience for us on how to communicate with everyone and how to handle that. And that was me as a event runner that I learned a whole lot with that. So, so we've changed a lot of things, and we learn a lot of stuff every year. We're not perfect, but it's a lot of fun. And I'm really excited. I'm excited for this year. It should be really, really good.
Any other thoughts or closing statements you'd like to make?
No, man. I mean, we're back doing it. I'm hoping Jeff and I have been talking. We want to bring a little bit more structure to this. Just a little bit of guideline or something. We're going to keep them a little bit shorter unless we decide we want to do an extended cut or something like that, or depending on our guest.
I have a feeling we could get Nick Peterson in here and easily do 4 hours.
Easily, yeah. I mean, and who knows where that map to nowhere.
You know what we need to do? We need to open the phone lines and put feelers out there and see, what do our guests want to hear out of OTB?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know what? This will probably hit social media at some point, so comment on whatever post we put out there and tell us what you want to hear.
Please do not ask me to speculate on pro racing. Please.
I want to talk about pro racing just a little.
You talk about it.
Like from behind, like from the living room, like Mike's thing from the living room. You know what I mean? Like, actually, we'll just let Mike talk about it.
There we go.
But I think it's so. I want to talk about people talking about it, like all the people that get so upset about Deegan and his comments, or about Levi Kitchen switching and going east and not west. I want to talk about people's opinions of that.
The drama.
The drama that these people have no idea what they're talking about.
Okay. So reaction.
Reaction
We're
to
looking for
people's
reaction.
Yes.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, reaction's fun. I can do reaction.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
What? Supercross. We are going to talk about it. We're going to speculate one thing.
Oh, okay.
Do you think Jet wins the title?
No.
I don't think so either. Yeah. That was going to be my Mike's hot takes or hot topic or whatever. That's what I was going to
I don't think he's the guy.
I think getting that number one is different than keeping number one.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think he's at such a deficit now. The other guys are so good.
It's not just that, but like youth and let me lean up against my armchair here. Youth and being spry can hop on an opportunity very easily. But to me, experience, age, know-how, cunning, outfoxing, racecraft. Not to say that Jet doesn't have racecraft, but like at the end of the day, being able to go like this, and I'm rolling my throttle hand forward, being able to go like this, like Kenny has straight up said, like he said, I wanted to get second place.
Yeah.
And whenever he first said that, I was like, dude, what a fucking stupid
Nobody
cop
wants
out.
that. Yeah,
Nobody wants that. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, I can understand the point of perception here on that, because you go into the first race and you get second place. You don't have the pressure to repeat first place that next weekend.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing is, if you win the opening round and then you don't win the second round, then the industry.
What happened? Does he hate his KTM? Does he? Oh yeah, he's not fit or whatever.
Exactly.
He does what he always does. Or like the same thing with Anderson. He's like, oh man, I was so relieved when Kenny passed me. Like he said that in an interview. Well, he also had 3 broken front wheel spokes.
Right.
Racing Supercross to a podium, which is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. Like that's so scary. But like for him to be like, yeah, dude, then I could just kind of chill and ride.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy to think. But like, dude, think about it. You're in such a good spot in second, third, fourth, fifth place, even where Tomac all the way back to 5th, I think. Is that what it was? Yeah.
I think that up until, what is there, 7? How many?
17.
17. Yeah. Up until the 9th round, it really doesn't matter where you're at. To me, it's the final 8 races are the ones that are important that really decide the championship.
Well, yeah, because that's who's still around, who didn't crash on a Tuesday at the test track, who didn't get sick.
Right. And they talk about it every year at Daytona. It's like
series starts at Daytona. Championship starts at Daytona.
correct. Yeah, and you just have to be in it long enough to survive through Daytona. Now, obviously, the pressure's on Chase right now.
I agree. Yeah, but I think he's okay with it. He's been there, done that.
Totally.
I think he's fine with it.
Totally okay with it. But now there's if you're not okay with that, and there's some guys that straight up just aren't okay with that.
Right.
And it starts to mess with them. And I mean, Jet, the thing is, to hit a hay bale or not to hit a tough block in the first corner happens to everybody.
Right.
Happens to everybody. I hit a tough block this weekend trying to pass a guy and crashed. It happens.
Jordan Smith did it in the 250 heat race.
But then to get up and crash two more times
By himself. I know at least one more.
Yeah, at least one more time in the sand. Right? Didn't he crash?
Right. Yeah, right into the sand, I think. Yeah.
What's going on? Like he was the Iceman last year, won everything.
Right.
Okay, and now he comes to A1 with that number one plate, and I hate to reiterate what people were saying on Vital, but there is a valid point. Like Jet looks like he has the weight of the world on his face.
I bet we eat our words right now next weekend, and he just goes 20 minutes straight and wins, and it wouldn't be surprised,
Great.
right? Like, oh, yeah, okay, cool.
You know what?
Right.
I hope he does.
Yeah, right.
I hope he does, and then I hope that Tomac comes back and wins A2.
Right, just
Yep.
a different.
And
I want to see 7 winners. You know what I mean?
Yes.
A random mud race in Seattle that AP wins.
Yeah.
Barsha surprises everybody. Like,
Let's get them all.
Yeah,
Let's get
dude,
everybody
I would love
in
it.
there.
It would be so cool. Like that's like I don't have a favorite racer. Trey's done, so I don't have a favorite racer. Which,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I just want to see really good racing. Like that's all I care about is good racing.
I mean, whenever it comes to the top guys, yeah, I don't have a favorite racer.
Yeah.
Love me some Benny Bloss.
Well, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's my boy. Right. Our boy.
Givenasfuck.com.
yeah. Rule 6.
Yeah. What was the slash your mom's house or something like
I'm
that?
sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah, dial up Ethan.
Why do you want the TV and the stereo on at the same time? Because I like to party.
So, man, that really fucked me up there. Benny aside,
Yeah.
I just want to see good racing.
Yeah. Benny, Kevin, the local boys.
Of course.
I mean,
Yeah. Thank you.
That's a given. Yeah. You don't even have to talk about those guys.
Bro, is it getting cold in here?
I thought it was cold when I got here. I haven't
Okay.
taken my jacket off yet, but
Yeah, I got a little warm, but I swear I'm getting colder.
Yeah, I don't.
Scotty, I'm ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's call it
normally I'm
good.
good for hours and hours.
No,
but
I think we're good.
wanna
I think this needs to be where we need to be at.
Hour and 20 minutes. Hour and 20.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
So,
we only have 12 more minutes in this room anyway.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. We'll be back.
We'll be back sooner than 4 or 5 years.
We will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we just need to build a studio somewhere.
Oh, I remember. Okay, there was one thing that I wanted to add
Uh-oh.
in as a final note here.
Here we go with our Midwest goodbyes. Like, takes you 30 minutes to
Yes.
leave. Tell your mom says hi. Watch for deer.
I just thought of this because I text her on the way over here. Sarah Ball has been on me about starting OTB again. Like every couple months, she'll be like, "When are you guys?"
Like
doing?
when I do.
Yeah. And she has been just as consistent as you are persistent about being like, "So you gonna do a fire up OTB?" And she's like, listen to it at Bike Graphics when I'm working, and it's awesome. So anyway, happy birthday to Sarah Ball. Her birthday's this weekend. It's not today, but it's this weekend.
It is. That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Happy
And
birthday, Sarah
I
Ball.
texted her on the way over here, and I was like, "Hey, we got a birthday. I have a birthday present for you. It's a big mystery. I'm not going to tell you what it is." Sarah Ball, this episode is dedicated to you. Enjoy. Yeah, here's your birthday podcast.
Dude, she's
episode.
one of my favorite people.
Top flight. Dude, you got to come over and play cards with the Nielsen's and us sometime.
I mean, I don't have to tell you this, but she's easy the best graphics designer in the Midwest.
That one cuts deep.
The twist the knife.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm getting at with that is, dude, she has done so much cool stuff for Cruise. Like his
really?
kit on his Husky.
Yeah.
She made him his own little logo. Like super rad. Just super
So
cool.
factory?
Yeah. She always hooks it up. So yeah.
Rock on. Well, thanks
Happy
everybody.
birthday,
We'll be
Sarah.
back soon. And like we said, make sure that you go and listen to the Behind the Gate episode. Great friends of ours. We want nothing but to see their podcast succeed. Anton and I's episode releases on Wednesday, the 16th, 22nd. A week from this Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow's the 15th. Okay. So somewhere in there. Be sure to look for it. And it's on all platforms. Also, if you are a YouTuber, make sure to subscribe to Creo. It's Creo Moto on YouTube. Scotty, plug yours.
Innovative MX Training.
There we go. We're really trying to, with TikTok going away and monetization on Instagram being absolute doo-doo booty cakes, I'm really pushing to get monetization on YouTube.
I've actually got 3 things in the loaded, ready to hit YouTube. I just haven't hit the go button
Very
yet.
good. So check out the Creo Moto page. Also, all old OTB episodes are available, and they are archived on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere that you listen to podcasts. You can find them there. So thanks so much. Thanks, Scotty.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
And shout out to Mikey. We look forward to getting him in the studio. And that's it. We'll catch you on the next one.